Welcome back to Palangi 21. Today I will show you the list of gay movies coming in 2025. Topli Film is a Serbian documentary film written and directed by Dragan Jovicevic. The story follows two young actors who are exploring the topic of representation of LGBTI people through the history of Yugoslav cinema and social circumstances that have resulted in different treatment of these characters. Nicola is a Bolivian documentary film directed by Pablo Terrazas. The story follows Nicola, an Argentinian baker who is divorced and living with his ex and their 3 children. At a critical moment, he decides to come to terms with his sexuality and come out of the closet to family and friends. Eden and Charlie is a French drama film written and directed by Benoit Duvet. It stars Nevin Karen and Augustin de Winter. The story follows Eden and Charlie who meet in an uninhabited house, and, through their explorations, they discover hidden secrets that force them to confront their repressed desires and come to terms with their identities. Ichaku is a Japanese drama film directed by Raito Nishizaka and Michael Williams. It stars Christopher McCombs and Christopher Nishizawa. The story follows the lives of an American expat and a half-Japanese construction worker who live in rural Japan, and their lives are forever changed over the course of 3 days as they engage in an unexpected romance. Oneness is an Indian thriller drama film written and directed by Priyakanta Laishram. It stars Priyakanta Laishram as Ivan, a young man who was killed by one of his family members because of his sexual orientation. At Least We Had This Moment is a Filipino drama film directed by Joshua De Vera. It stars Raven Rigger and Andre Miguel Bongado. The story follows young photographer Dino, who seeks company with Vince in pursuit to capture the aged architecture of the city. But as the city noises grew, their stories stood out. Scraps is a gay romance skateboarding short film directed and co-written by Ryan Norden. It stars Peter Lindell and Dorian Giordano. In 2003 Montana, the story follows Gus, a shy artist, and Bridger, a rebellious skateboarder, who form a surprising deep bond by skating and being brave enough to try something new. The short film has been released on YouTube, and they are now planning to shoot the feature next summer. Viet and Nam is a Vietnamese-Filipino romantic drama film written and directed by Truong Minh Quy. It stars Tinga Nguyen and Daniel Viet Tung La. The story follows 2 coal miners who are lovers, dreaming of a better life by escaping their lives until a doomed future parts them. Monsieur Aznavour is a musical biographical drama film written and directed by Mehdi Idir and Grand Corps Malade. It stars Tahar Rahim as French singer Charles Aznavour, from his beginning as the son of Armenian immigrants, to the rise of his career as a singer and actor which cemented his status as a beloved figure in France. The Paradise of Thorns is a Thai drama film directed and co-written by Narwabet Kuno. It stars Jeff Satter, Engfa Waraha, and Sridhar Pupimol. The story follows unmarried gay couple who builds home and durian farm together. After one partner's accidental death, his family seizes assets due to lack of legal marriage recognition. Surviving partner fights to reclaim their shared property and life's work. The Judgment is a drama film written and directed by Marwan Mokbel. It stars June Zadi and Freddie Shaheen. The story follows an Egyptian gay couple who return from the US to Egypt for a family emergency. When they fall prey to witchcraft as punishment for their homosexual sins, one of them falls into religious terror and exposes his unhealed past. Cactus Pears is a romantic drama film written and directed by Rohan Parashuram Kanawade. It stars Bhushan Manoj and Suraj Suman. The story follows a man from the city who returns to his hometown following a death in the family and reconnects romantically with his childhood friend. Solo is a Canadian romantic drama film written and directed by Sophie Dupuis. It stars Theodore Pellerin and Felix Mariteau. The story follows Simon, who must deal with the disappointment of 2 impossible loves, a passionate but destructive crush on Oliver, and a distant and cold relationship with his mother Claire, who has just moved back in after a 15-year absence. Chabuca is a Peruvian biographical drama film directed by Jorge Carmona. It stars Sergio Armazgo and Miguel Davalos. The story follows the life of Peruvian host Ernesto Pimentel, a man who defied social conventions to become an icon of Peruvian television with his character of La Chola Chabuca. Ex-Husbands is an American drama film written and directed by Noah Pritzker. It stars Griffin Dunne, James Norton, and Miles Heiser. The story follows Manhattan dentist Peter Pierce, who is facing a midlife crisis after his wife of 35 years leaves him. On the spur of the moment, he books a trip to Mexico, only to crash his son's bachelor party. Krenko is a German biographical drama film written and directed by Joachim Lang. It stars Sam Riley as John Krenko, who left the Royal Ballet in London and found fame in Stuttgart as its great dance creator. Eat the Night is a French drama film directed by Jonathan Vanel and Caroline Poggi. It stars Theo Cholby, Erwan Kepo-Afele, and Lila Guinot. The story follows young drug dealer Pablo and his sister Apolline, who bond over an online game called Dark Noon. Pablo falls for night and neglecting his sister. One Last Night of You is a French romantic drama film directed by Theodore Tomage. It stars Lou Andreas Robert and Leo Simonot. The story follows Evan, a suicidal young man who meets Leo, a mysterious boy. Along the way, romantic tension ensues as the pair reckon with traumas of the past, conflicts of the present, and the potential of the future together or apart. Throuple is an American drama film directed by Grayson Horst. It stars Taylor Turner, Stanton Plummer Cambridge, and Michael Doshier. The story follows Michael, a lonely gay singer-songwriter who learns how to ask for what he wants in life through a newfound romance with an honest and communicative married couple. Amusement Park is a Brazilian drama film directed by Ricardo Alves Jr. The film stars Arthur Rogério and tells about the experience of cruising, a term that describes free, consensual, and anonymous sexual games and acts practiced in public places. In the Room Where He Waits is an Australian psychological horror film directed and co-written by Timothy Despina Marshall. It stars Daniel Monks as Tobin Wade, a queer theater actor who waits in a hotel room before his father's funeral. Convinced there is someone or something in the room with him, he must come face to face with all that haunts him in a fight for his life. Sunflower is an Australian drama film written and directed by Gabriel Karuba. It stars Liam Mullica, Jacob Pontilscala, and Luke J. Morgan. The story follows Leo, a 17-year-old boy who struggles to understand and embrace his sexuality as he comes of age in the working-class suburbs on Melbourne's edge. Kuch Sapni Apni is an Indian romantic drama film written and directed by Sridhar Rangayan and Sagar Gupta. It stars Satvik Bhatia and Arpit Chowdhury. The story follows Kartik and Aman, whose relationship faces a crisis after Aman discovers Kartik's infidelity during an overseas trip. Meanwhile, tensions deepen as Kartik's parents grapple with their own marital struggles, and a family member reveals her true gender identity. Sex is a Norwegian drama film written and directed by Dag Johan Hogerud. The film stars Thorbjorn Har and Jan Gunnar Royes. The story follows two men in heterosexual marriages who find themselves in situations that challenge their perspectives on sexuality and gender norms. Feeling Randy is an American coming-of-age drama film written and directed by Dean Lent. It stars Tyler Lawrence Gray and Reed Miller. Based on actual events in the life of award-winning writer-director Dean Lent, recalling the time that he, along with 3 high school buddies, embarked on a 70 road trip to the now-defunct Mustang Ranch brothel in Nevada, in an attempt to prove to himself that he was actually heterosexual. The Prodigy is an American thriller drama film directed and co-written by Omar Salas Amorad. It stars Bo Swartz as street hustler Adam, who is just about given up on life. When he finds himself held captive at the mercy of a deranged psychopath, he must decide whether to give up or fight like hell to keep on living. My Boyfriend is a Sex Worker is a Filipino drama film directed by Ivan Andrew Payawal. It stars Topper Fabregas and Kurt Kendrick. The story follows the relationship between Ace, the influential Mendoza family's perfect son, and Gio, a gay porn content creator and sex worker. Howdy Neighbor is an American thriller drama film directed by Allison Snyder. It stars Matthew Scott Montgomery as Benjamin, a queer actor living in Los Angeles who still gets recognized for his starring role as Bucky the Farm Boy. His world is turned upside down when his new neighbor Chase reveals himself as a huge fan. As the lines between friend and fan are blurred, Ben begins investigating why Chase looks so oddly familiar. Bear Week Diaries is an American drama film directed by Anton Giulio Panizzi. It stars Jonathan Yaskoff and Robert Fuller. The story follows David, who is ready for a fun, carefree week of his life, until he meets Ryan, who makes him question his feelings about love. Desire Lines is an American drama film directed and co-written by Jules Roskam. It stars Aden Hakimi and Theo Germain. The story follows an Iranian-American trans man who travels back in time to an LGBTQ archive to understand his sexuality. He encounters his past and present selves during an erotic journey of self-discovery. Humo Bajo el Agua is an Argentinian drama film written and directed by Fabio Junco and Julio Midu. It stars Mariano Martinez and Rodrigo Guirao Diaz. The story follows the friendship between Julian and Patricio during a key moment of Argentinian history, the return of democracy. Their reunion will make them realize that their affection has become an indomitable feeling. Went Up the Hill is an Australian-New Zealand thriller drama film directed and co-written by Samuel van Grinsven. The film stars Dacre Montgomery as Jack, a man returning to his native New Zealand to attend the funeral of his birth mother, from whom he was taken away and placed into foster care. He meets his mother's widow Jill for the first time, only for his mother to return in spirit form and inhabit both Jack and Jill, using each of their bodies to speak to the other. The Binding is an Israeli drama film directed and co-written by A.L. Kantor. It stars Yoav Karin and Shimon Mimran. The story follows Binyamin, who moved to Tel Aviv after coming out as gay, and facing the trauma after his brother's death for which he felt responsible. Binyamin's life takes a turn when his relationship with the pub owner where he works grows closer. Days of August is an American romantic drama film directed by Mackenzie Marsteller. It stars Santiago Sepulveda and Taryn McCallum. The story follows Godfrey, who rediscovers the poetry journal of his lover August, and must confront the memories of August's fight for a revolution against the state, a totalitarian regime led by Godfrey's own father. Glasscar is a Danish drama film written and directed by Soren Green. It stars Noah Risbro Sherald and Jonathan Bergold Jorgensen. The story follows a 16-year-old boy who spends the summer with his grandparents. He falls in love with an older young man, but when tragedy strikes, he falls into a dark hole of self-harm, lust, and loneliness. Drive Back Home is a Canadian drama film written and directed by Michael Clowater. It stars Charlie Creed Miles and Alan Cumming. Set in 1970, the story follows Weldon, a blue-collar plumber from New Brunswick who has been forced to travel to Toronto to bail his estranged brother Pearlie out of jail. Following his arrest for having sex with another man in a public park, and centers on their road trip back to New Brunswick. My Young Prince is a Ukrainian drama film directed and co-written by Khachatur Vasilyan. It stars Petro Ninovsky as Paul, a 17-year-old from a wealthy family, who suffers from agoraphobia and lives with his mother on the money raised by his grandmother. He leads a profligate, extravagant, and full of guilty pleasures life in his luxurious house until he meets a young man and his father. They will change everything in this well-established system and become key figures in the case of double murder. Streets of Gloria is a Brazilian drama film written and directed by Felipe Scholl. It stars Caio Macedo and Alejandro Clavo. The story follows Gabriel, a closeted gay anthropologist, who travels to Rio after his grandmother's death to study sex workers. He becomes seduced by his research subjects and joins them as a sex worker himself. Reigns Over Babel is a fantasy comedy drama film written and directed by Gala del Sol. It stars Joan Narvaez, Sofia Buenaventura, and John Alex Castillo. The story follows a group of misfits who gather at Babel, a legendary dive bar that doubles as purgatory, where La Flaca, the city's grim reaper, presides. Here, souls gamble years of their lives with her, daring to outwit death herself. Peter Hujar's Day is an American period drama film written and directed by Ira Sachs. It stars Ben Whishaw and Rebecca Hall. The story follows a conversation between photographers Peter Hujar and Linda Rosenkrantz from 1974. Which sheds light on New York's vibrant downtown art world and the introspective journey of an artist's life. Disco Boy is a drama film written and directed by Giacomo Abruzzese. It stars Franz Rogowski and Morn Di. The story follows Alexei, who arrives in Paris to join the Foreign Legion. In the Niger Delta, Jomo struggles against the oil companies threatening his village and the lives of his family. The destinations of Alexei and Jomo will merge and continue across borders, bodies, life, and death. Hidden Flora is an American romantic comedy drama film written and directed by Ryan Rox. It stars Luca Silver as Roxy, a queer, hopeless romantic who just wants to be loved and treated the way boys do girls. A string of boys and men informs Roxy's views of sex and identity in the late aughts Las Cruces, New Mexico. Queens of the Dead is an American horror comedy film directed and co-written by Tina Romero. It stars Katie O'Brien, Ricky Lindholm, and Cheyenne Jackson. The story follows drag queens and club kids who battle zombies craving brains during a zombie outbreak at their drag show in Brooklyn, putting personal conflicts aside to utilize their distinct abilities the undead threat. The Visitor is a comedy drama film directed and co-written by Bruce LaBruce. It stars Bishop Black and Macklin Kowal. The story follows a refugee who is among multiple identical men appearing around London. Masked as a homeless man, he visits the home of an upper-class family and befriended by their maid. He intimately interacts with each, catalyzing their spiritual awakenings. Dope Queens is an American drama film written and directed by Grafton Doyle. It stars Pearson Fode, Trace Lysette, and Alexandra Gray. The story follows three remarkable friends who navigate San Francisco's fluorescent Tenderloin district and quickly find themselves trapped in a prison of their own making. Love is a Norwegian romantic drama film written and directed by Dag Johan Haugerud. It stars Tayo Citadella Jacobson and Andrea Brain Hovig. The story follows Marianne, a doctor, and Tor, a nurse who avoids relationships. After a meeting on a ferry where Tor seeks casual encounters, Marianne explores the possibility of spontaneous intimacy and questioning societal norms. Wake Up Dead Man is an American mystery film written and directed by Rian Johnson. This is the third installment overall in the Knives Out film series. It stars Daniel Craig, who reprises his role as Master Detective Benoit Blanc. To Live to Die to Live Again is a French drama film directed and co-written by Gail Morel. It stars Victor Belmondo, Lou Lamprose, and Theo Christine. The story follows Cyril, Emma, and Sammy, three young adults in a love triangle whose lives are sent in unexpected directions by HIV/AIDS. Heart of the Man is an Australian coming-of-age drama film written and directed by David Cook. It stars Parker Little and David Cook. The story follows Chris, a rising amateur boxer who torn between pleasing his father and following his heart. The Best Friend is a Brazilian drama film directed by Alan Deberton. It stars Vinicius Teixeira and Gabriel Fuentes. The story follows two great friends who are reunited after 5 years. Among so many things that have changed, the resumption of connection awakens an old feeling for which they remain unprepared. Spring Bloom is an American drama film directed and co-written by Cole Evans. It stars Jake McDorman and Lyle Letow. The story follows a complex romance that unfolds at a gourmet restaurant between a brilliant but troubled chef and a mercurial younger man on the run from his past. Demons at Dawn is a Mexican drama film directed and co-written by Julian Hernandez. It stars Luis Vegas and Mauricio Rico. The story follows Orlando and Marco, two young men who live in Mexico City. They meet by chance and fall in love. Every day they fight in order to achieve their dreams. As they go against a diverse, ever-changing, hostile world, they'll learn that once the darkness of night is gone, and through their intertwined bodies and their synchronized souls, they will have seen all those demons of dawn go by. Haze is an American drama film written and directed by Matthew Pfeiffer. It stars Cole Doman and Brian J. Smith. The story follows a young journalist who returns home to investigate the unsolved deaths at an abandoned psychiatric center. As he dances with the shadows of his past and a mysterious new man in his life, his family's history and the town's secrets begin to converge. Saltwater is a Colombian drama film written and directed by Steven Morales Pineda. It stars Oscar Salazar and Jonathan Llarena. The story follows 33-year-old Jacobo, who reignites a connection with José Luis, a 50-year-old Catholic priest navigating the twilight of his clerical life. Amid swirling allegations that have cast a shadow over his sacred vows, Jacobo's youth was marked by a profound rupture, leaving behind a fissure of turbulence and unresolved longing. Sex Love Venice is an American romantic drama film written and directed by Steve Balderson. It stars Daniel Bateman and Alexander Ananasso. The story follows Michael, who escapes to Venice, Italy, to heal from a breakup. He unexpectedly finds a love that awakens his spirit and expands his heart, promising to profoundly change the direction of his life forever. Malanova is an Italian romantic drama film written and directed by Roberto Cuzzillo. It stars Nuno Nolasco and Joelle Anastasi. The story follows Matteo and Ricardo, a couple, and they are about to celebrate their 6th month of their relationship. But the romantic time is interrupted by tragic news. Matteo discovers he has become HIV positive. Duino is a romantic drama film written and directed by Juan Pablo Di Pace and Andres Pepe Estrada. It stars Juan Pablo Di Pace, Santiago Madrusan, Oscar Morgan, and August Wittgenstein. The story follows an Argentinian filmmaker who struggles to finish a film about his unrequited first love. He receives an unexpected invitation to reconstruct his memories, revisit his past, and perhaps even find a new ending to his story. Dying Briefly is a Mexican romantic drama film directed and co-written by Juan Briceño. It stars Martin Saracho and Joan Curry. The story follows Sebastian, who joins an important dance company and meets Arsenio, a charming and experienced dancer. The two begin an intense affair and become a couple. The crisis arises with the arrival of a new and manipulative choreographer that shakes up the group dynamics. Now the couple have to compete with each other for the same role and yet remain true to themselves. In Ashes is a Danish drama film written and directed by Ludvig Christian Næsted Poulsen. It stars Rex Leonard and Leor Cohen. The story follows a young gay man who is trying to get over the heartbreak of his first love. Looking for meaningful connections through dating apps, he goes through a whirlwind of experiences, passion, and obsession on a journey to find new love and himself. Touch Me is an American psychological horror comedy film written and directed by Addison Hyman. It stars Olivia Taylor-Dudley, Lou Taylor-Pucci, and Jordan Gavaris. The story follows two codependent friends, Joey and Craig, who find themselves homeless and out of options. That's when Joey's mysterious ex resurfaces. He wants her back. Along with being hot, Brian also happens to be an alien whose touch makes anxiety and depression disappear. The two venture to his compound for the weekend with the hope of being healed from past trauma, but underneath Brian's veneer of healing is a sinister plot filled with murder, mayhem, and blood. Ponyboy is an American thriller film directed by Esteban Arango. It stars River Gallo and Dylan O'Brien. The story follows a young intersex worker who is working at a laundromat with her pregnant best friend. He spends his nights with Vinny, his secret lover and pimp, who is also the father of Angel's child. However, when a drug deal goes bad, he finds himself on the run from the mob. Sauna is a Danish drama film directed by Matthias Bro. It stars Magnus Jule Andersen and Nina Therese Rask. The story follows Johan, who thrives as a gay man in Copenhagen, enjoying endless bars, parties, and casual flings. Everything changes when he meets William, a transgender man, and falls into a deep love that defines societal norms around gender, identity, and relationships. Straight is a Mexican drama film directed and co-written by Marcelo Tobar. It stars Alejandro Spitzer, Barbara Lopez, and Franco Massini. The story follows Roberto, a banker who has been in a relationship with Aaliyah for 6 years. Everything changes when Roberto begins a sexual relationship through an app with a man, which leads him to rethink whether he is really happy in his life. Perfect Endings is a Brazilian romantic drama film directed and co-written by Daniel Ribeiro. It stars Artur Volpi and Sidney Santiago. The story follows João and Hugo, who end their 10-year relationship but remain best friends. As they start dating again, uncontrollable emotions arise, contrasting the planned perfection of their breakup. The Greatest is an American drama film written and directed by Ryan Sarno. It stars Isaac Neverla, Sergio Acevedo, and Isabella Jacobson. The story follows the tale of a love triangle between Jay, Beverly, and a man named Ricky. Jay and Beverly seem to be your perfect stereotypical mid-century couple, but deep down Jay has a secret. He has recently met a man named Ricky. Jay and Ricky become romantically involved, risking everything. From there, everything in their world changes, and coming to terms with the fallout will be something that all three have to go through together. Sandbag Dam is a drama film directed by Sajan Cernik Kanak. It stars Lav Novosel and Andrea Zunak. The story follows Slavin, who returns home for his father's funeral. He rekindles a relationship with his childhood friend Marco, a young athlete who was his teenage love and the reason his father expelled him from home. As they contemplate reuniting, they must confront their past choices and navigate family constraints. Night Stage is a Brazilian erotic thriller film written and directed by Marcio Reolon and Felipe Matzenbacher. It stars Gabriel Farias and Cirilo Luna. The story follows an actor and a politician who start a secret affair and together discover their fetish for having sex in public places. Rent Free is an American comedy drama film directed and co-written by Fernando Andres. It stars Jacob Roberts and David Trevino. The story follows childhood friends Ben and Jordan who plan to move from Austin to Brooklyn. But Ben's misjudged behavior towards their would-be roommate's boyfriend causes them to be kicked out of their new apartment. Back in Austin, the pair work gig economy jobs while living with Jordan's girlfriend Anna. When Anna kicks them out, the pair make a pact to couch surf for an entire year. Motel Destino is a Brazilian erotic thriller film, directed and co-written by Karim Inuz. It stars Iago Xavier, Natalie Rocha, and Fabio Assunção. The neon-colored Motel Destino, a roadside sex hotel shimmering under the burning blue skies of the northeastern coast of Brazil, is run by hot-headed Elias and his restless younger wife Diana. The unexpected arrival of 21-year-old Geraldo, on the run after a botched hit, disrupts the established order. Hombres Integros is a Mexican romantic drama film directed and co-written by Alejandro Andrade. It stars Andres Revo and Joaquin Emanuel. The story follows Alf, who returns to his Catholic school and encounters a new student, Oliver, who captivates him, leading him away from his lifelong friends. Yet, when faced with adversity, Alf betrays this attraction, opting to display his masculinity to his friends. This choice results in dire consequences that will leave an indelible mark on them all for life. Another World is a British romantic drama film written and directed by Sean Sadler. It stars Giles Wharton and Isaac Moore. The story follows a popular local bully who is struggling to come to terms with his sexuality. He falls for the outcast gay neighbor who attempts to pursue him. They jeopardize their secrets, social status, friends, and risk their lives. I Don't Understand You is a comedy horror film written and directed by David Joseph Craig and Brian Crano. It stars Nick Kroll and Andrew Rannells. The story follows an American couple, on the verge of adopting a baby, goes on an Italian vacation with an opportunity to reconnect. But they get their rental car stuck in a ditch and are stranded in rural nowhere in a downpour. They are now in a foreign land without service, an Italian language comprehension of about 0, and clear relationship turmoil that could explode at any minute. Griffin in Summer is an American drama film written and directed by Nicholas Collier. It stars Everett Blunk and Owen Teague. The story follows 14-year-old Griffin, who is the most ambitious playwright of his generation. But once he meets handsome 25-year-old handyman Brad, his life and play will never be the same. Young Hearts is a coming-of-age drama film written and directed by Anthony Shadowman. It stars Lou Goosens and Marius de Sager. The story follows Elias, a 14-year-old boy who befriends his new neighbor Alexander. Alexander is a confident and headstrong boy from Brussels. They get along well, and Elias begins to develop feelings for Alexander. He soon realizes he's falling in love for the first time. The Astronaut Lovers is a romantic drama film written and directed by Marco Berger. It stars Lautaro Batoni and Javier Oran. The story follows a man who travels from Spain to Argentina for a vacation at his family home, where he becomes attracted to a childhood friend. But their relationship is full of misunderstandings, as they try to hide it from family and friends. Out is a Dutch drama film written and directed by Dennis Alink. It stars Bas Kiezer and Jefferson Yaw Frempong Manson. The story follows lovers Tom and Ajani who dream of a new life in which their relationship does not have to be a secret. The two feel like outsiders in their conservative small village. They move to Amsterdam, where a journey of self-discovery awaits them. Lily's Not For Me is a period drama film written and directed by Will Seafried. It stars Fionn O'Shea, Robert Aramayo, Aaron Kellyman, and Louis Hoffman. The story follows a gay novelist and his psychiatric nurse, who bond over a series of doctor-ordered dates, as he tells the story of a friendship, which spiraled out of control when they turned to a risky procedure to cure themselves of feelings for each other. Baby is a drama film directed and co-written by Marcelo Caetano. It stars João Pedro Mariano and Ricardo Teodoro. The story follows Baby, a young man who forced to fend for himself on the streets of São Paulo. Newly released from a 2-year stint in juvenile detention, during which his parents moved away without leaving any indication of their whereabouts, he meets the older Ronaldo, an escort who becomes first a substitute father figure, and then a love interest for Baby. High Tide is an American romantic drama film written and directed by Marco Calvani. It stars Marco Pigossi, James Bland, and Marisa Tomei. The story follows undocumented Brazilian immigrant Lourenço, who searches for purpose in the queer mecca of Provincetown. As the summer season comes to a fade, he sparks an intense and unexpected romance with Maurice. Together, the two reconcile the pasts they've left behind and their uncertain futures. Riley is an American coming-of-age drama film written and directed by Benjamin Howard. It stars Jake Hawley, Colin McCalla, and Riley Quinn Scott. The story follows ambitious high school athlete Dakota Riley. With high expectations for his athletic pursuits, Dakota lives within carefully designed boundaries, a calculated blueprint upon which he's formed the basis of his identity. But when the reality of that identity is thrown into disarray, Dakota is forced to confront the consequences of denying himself or coming to terms with who he really is. Queer is a period romantic drama film directed by Luca Guadagnino. It stars Drew Starkey and Daniel Craig. Set in 1950 Mexico City, the story follows Lee, who after fleeing from a drug bust in New Orleans, wanders around the city's clubs and becomes infatuated with Allerton, a discharged American Navy serviceman. Some Nights I Feel Like Walking is a Filipino drama film written and directed by Peterson Vargas. It stars Gold Aceron, Argel Sacon, and Tommy Alejandrino. The story follows street hustler Uno, who wanders the streets with his found family of misfits, who look out for each other and make a quick money when they can. When they get entangled with a runaway with an enigmatic background, and one of them reveals a dying wish, the night unfolds in equal parts pain and passion. The Boy with Pink Pants is an Italian drama film directed by Margherita Ferri. It stars Claudia Pandolfi, Samuele Carino, and Andrea Aru. The story follows how a simple mistake in washing jeans which turned them pink triggered a series of bullying acts against Andrea, culminating in the creation of an offensive Facebook page that further increased the harassment. Andrea's mother discovered the existence of the page only after her son's tragic death. 3 Kilometers to the End of the World is a Romanian drama film directed and co-written by Emanuel Parvu. It stars Ciprian Ciugea and Ingrid Berescu. Set in a conservative Danube Delta community, the story follows a gay teenager's journey of self-discovery, which clashes with the traditional values held by his parents and neighbors. I Wish You All the Best is an American drama film directed and co-written by Tommy Dorfman. It stars Alexandra Daddario, Cole Sprouse, and Corey Fogelmanis. The story follows Ben, a non-binary teenager who is thrown out of their house and forced to move in with their estranged older sister Hannah and her husband Thomas. Ben embarks upon a journey of self-discovery that teaches them about love, friendship, and family. Beautiful Evening, Beautiful Day is a drama film written and directed by Ivona Juka. It stars Dado Kozik, Georgia Galic, and Slaven Doslo. The story follows 4 close friends who are renowned filmmakers in Yugoslavia in the 1950s, but their sexual orientation raises suspicion. A Communist Party loyalist is sent to sabotage their lives, turning their pursuit of freedom into a battle for survival. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is an American historical drama film directed by Leslie Headland. The story follows Hollywood legend Evelyn Hugo, who chooses an unknown reporter to tell her life story. Evelyn recounts her time in the golden age of Hollywood and her 7 marriages. Twinless is an American comedy film written and directed by James Sweeney. It stars Dylan O'Brien and James Sweeney. The story follows 2 young men who strike up an unlikely friendship after meeting in a support group for twinless twins. Pet Shop Days is a British romantic thriller drama film directed and co-written by Olmo Schnabel. It stars Dario Yazbek Bernal and Jack Irv. The story follows Alejandro, who arrives in New York after fleeing his well-to-do family in Mexico. He meets a young man named Jack, eventually seducing him and drawing him into his criminal life. The Parenting is an American comedy horror film directed by Craig Johnson. It stars Nick Dodani and Brandon Flynn. The story follows a young gay couple, Rohan and Josh, who host a weekend getaway with their respective parents in a country house rental. Things take a turn when the 3 couples discover the presence of a 400-year-old evil entity. Jimpa is a drama film directed and co-written by Sophie Hyde. It stars Olivia Colman, John Lithgow, and Aude Mason Hyde. The story follows Hannah and her non-binary teenager Frances, who travel to Amsterdam to visit their gay grandfather Jim, known as Jimpa. When Frances wishes to stay with their grandfather for a year, Hannah is forced to re-examine her parenting and her past. The Wedding Banquet is an American romantic comedy film directed and co-written by Andrew Ahn. It stars Lily Gladstone, Kelly Marie Tran, Bowen Yang, and Han Ji Chan. The story follows a gay man who makes a deal with his lesbian friend, a green card marriage for him, in exchange for in vitro fertilization treatments for her. Plans evolve as his grandmother surprises them with a Korean wedding banquet. The Light Fantastic is a British comedy drama film directed by Chris Cottam. It stars Rupert Everett, Jeremy Irvine, and Nathan Stewart Jarrett. Set in Blackpool, the story follows a gay firefighter who dreams of becoming a professional ballroom dancer and battles the rigid traditions of the ballroom world under the guidance of his ultra-traditional instructor. On a Winter Night is a British romantic drama film directed by Liam Calvert. It stars Alexander Lincoln and Jack Brett Anderson. The story follows a stone-broke gay actor and a privileged bonehead with a failing business, who cross paths on a winter night and join forces in a quest around London to find a meaning to their miserable lives. A Nice Indian Boy is an American romantic drama film directed by Roshan Sethi. It stars Karan Soni and Jonathan Groff. The story follows Naveen, who brings his fiancée Jay home to meet his traditional Indian family. They must contend with accepting his white orphan artist boyfriend and helping them plan the Indian wedding of their dreams. Plain Clothes is an American romantic thriller drama film written and directed by Carmen Emmy. It stars Russell Tovey and Tom Blythe. The story follows a promising undercover agent who is assigned to lure and arrest gay men. He defies professional orders when he falls in love with a target. The History of Sound is a historical romantic drama film written and directed by Oliver Hermanus. It stars Josh O'Connor and Paul Mescal. The story follows the relationship of two young men who meet in 1916 and then travel together in the summer of 1919 to record the folk songs of their countrymen in rural New England. On Swift Horses is an American drama film directed by Daniel Minahan. It stars Daisy Edgar Jones, Jacob Elordi, Will Poulter, and Diego Calva. The story follows Muriel and her husband Lee, who are about to begin a bright new life, which is upended by the arrival of Lee's brother. Muriel embarks on a secret life, gambling on racehorses and discovering a love she never thought possible. Kiss of the Spider-Woman is an American musical drama film written and directed by Bill Condon. It stars Jennifer Lopez, Diego Luna, and Tonatiuh. The story follows Luis Molina, a gay hairdresser who is serving an 8-year sentence for allegedly corrupting a minor. To escape the horrors of his imprisonment, Molina imagines films starring a classic screen actress named Ingrid Luna, including a role of the Spider-Woman, who kills her prey with a kiss. Molina's life is upended when a Marxist Valentine is brought into his cell, and the two form an unlikely bond. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification.